Marcus Cole woke up to the sound of someone knocking on his door. He did not want to get up. He never wanted to get up anymore. 5 years had passed since the war ended, but the nightmares still came every night. He still saw the faces of his squad members. He still heard their screams as the Valorian ship tore through their station. He was 34 years old, but he felt like an old man. The knocking came again, louder this time. Marcus groaned and pushed himself off the worn couch that served as his bed. His apartment was small and dirty. Empty food containers sat on the counter. The windows had not been cleaned in months. This was not the home of a war hero. This was the home of a man who had given up. He opened the door and found 3 aliens standing in the hallway. 2 of them were tall and gray, with long faces and black eyes. They wore the white robes of the Galactic Council. The third was smaller, hidden behind them, and Marcus could not see her clearly. "Marcus Cole?" the first alien asked. Its voice was flat and cold. "Sergeant First Class Terran Defense Force, retired?" "What do you want?" Marcus asked. He was not in the mood for visitors. "You have been selected," the alien said. It held out a glowing tablet. "According to the Treaty of Armistice, Section 47, Subsection C, you have been chosen by lottery to receive a Kitsari companion as part of the Cultural Exchange Program." Marcus stared at the alien. He did not understand. "A what?" The 2 gray aliens stepped aside. Behind them stood a small figure, and Marcus felt his breath catch in his throat. She was beautiful in a way that did not seem real. Her body was shaped like a human woman, but covered in soft silver-white fur. 2 pointed ears rose from her head, and 3 long, fluffy tails swayed gently behind her. Her eyes were the color of amber, bright and deep, and they stayed fixed on the ground. She wore simple gray robes, and around her neck was a strange collar made of crystal. "This is your companion," the alien said. "Her name is Yuki. She is a Kitsari female, trained in domestic service and cultural assistance. She is now your property." The word hit Marcus like a punch to the stomach. Property. "No," he said immediately. "I don't want her. Take her back." The alien's expression did not change. Refusal is not permitted. The treaty is clear. If you reject this gift, it will be seen as a diplomatic insult. The peace between humanity and the Valorian Empire is fragile. Your refusal could restart the war. Marcus looked at the small fox woman. She had not moved. She had not spoken. She simply stood there with her head down, like she was waiting to be told what to do. He thought about the war. He thought about the millions who had died. He thought about his squad, about the promise he had made to their families that their sacrifice would mean something. "Fine," he said through gritted teeth. "She can stay." The aliens nodded and walked away without another word. Marcus was left standing in his doorway with a fox woman. He did not want and did not know what to do with .yuk. I stepped inside his apartment. Her movements were small and careful, like a mouse trying not to be noticed. She kept her eyes on the floor. "Master," she said softly. Her voice was gentle and quiet. "Where would you like me to sleep?" "I can sleep on the floor if there is no space for me." "Don't call me that," Marcus said sharply. "I'm not your master. I'm not your owner. I didn't ask for this." Yuki flinched at his tone. "I am sorry. I did not mean to offend." Marcus ran his hand through his hair. He was not angry at her. He was angry at the situation. He was angry at a universe that thought giving people away as gifts was acceptable. "Look," he said, trying to make his voice softer. "You can have the bedroom. I sleep on the couch anyway. Are you hungry? I can make something." Yuki finally looked up at him. There was confusion in her amber eyes. You wish to cook for me?" "Yeah, why not? But I am the servant. I should cook for you." "You're not a servant. Marcus said firmly. Not here. Not with me. You're a guest. Understand? Yuki did not seem to understand at all. She tilted her head like a confused animal. Her tail swished nervously behind her. That first night was strange and uncomfortable. Marcus made a simple meal of rice and vegetables. Yuki ate slowly, watching him the entire time as if she expected him to suddenly change and become cruel. He gave her clean sheets for the bed and showed her where the bathroom was. She thanked him a dozen times for things that required no thanks. When the lights went out and the apartment grew quiet, Marcus lay on his couch and stared at the ceiling. He thought about how wrong all of this was. He had fought against the Valorians because they treated other species as lesser. And now humanity was accepting people as prizes. What had they become? He heard a sound from the bedroom. Soft footsteps. He stayed still and kept his breathing even, pretending to be asleep. Through half-closed eyes, he watched Yuki walk to the window. She stood there for a long moment, looking up at the stars. And then something changed. Her posture shifted. Her shoulders went back. Her spine straightened. Her three tails rose and spread like a fan behind her. In that moment, she did not look like a servant at all. She looked like a queen. She looked like a warrior. There was power in her stance, ancient and vast, and Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Then she turned her head slightly, as if sensing his gaze. Instantly, the power vanished. Her shoulders dropped. Her tails lowered. The meek, frightened servant returned. "I am sorry, master," she whispered. "I did not mean to wake you. Please forgive me." Marcus said nothing. He kept his eyes closed and his breathing steady. But his mind was racing. He had seen something in that moment. Something she was hiding. Something powerful. Who was she really? The question kept him awake until dawn. 3 weeks passed, and Marcus began to learn things about his strange guest. He learned that Yuki did not know how to accept kindness. Every time he did something nice for her, she would freeze like a deer caught in headlights. When he made her breakfast, she stared at the food as if it might be poisoned. When he asked about her day, she seemed shocked that anyone would care. He also learned that she was hiding many things. It started with small moments. One evening, Marcus came home early from his security job and found Yuki reading a book. But it was not a normal book. It was a tablet filled with advanced mathematics, written in Valorian notation. Marcus had spent 2 years during the war trying to learn that language. He had failed. The symbols were too complex for human minds, but Yuki was reading it like a child reads a picture book. When she noticed him watching, she quickly hid the tablet and pretended to be folding laundry instead. "What were you reading?" Marcus asked. "Nothing, master. Just looking at pictures." He did not push her. He was learning to be patient. Another time, they were walking through the market district when a group of young men blocked their path. There were 5 of them, all wearing the black jackets of an anti-alien gang. They called themselves the Pure Earth Movement, and they hated anything that was not human. "Well, look at this," the leader said. He was a big man with a shaved head and cruel eyes. A human walking around with an animal. "What's wrong, buddy? Can't find a real woman?" Marcus stepped in front of Yuki. "Walk away, now." The leader laughed. "Oh, what? You'll call the police? They don't care about alien lovers around here." The 5 men moved closer. Marcus knew how to fight. He had been trained by the military. But 5 against 1 was bad odds, especially when he was trying to protect someone. Then everything changed. I moved. It was not a run or a jump. It was something else entirely. One moment she was behind Marcus. The next moment she was standing in the middle of the 5 men, and all of them were falling to the ground. Marcus did not see or hit anyone. He did not see her kick or punch. She simply moved through them like water, and they dropped like stones. The whole thing took less than 2 seconds. Then Yuki's eyes rolled back, and she collapsed into Marcus's arms. "Oh no," she whispered weakly. "I think I fainted from fear." How embarrassing. She had not fainted from fear. Marcus was sure of that. But he played along, carrying her away from the groaning men and taking her home. That night, he sat across from her at the small kitchen table. She was drinking tea, her hands wrapped around the warm cup. Her tails were curled around her feet. "Yuki," he said gently, "I know you're not what you pretend to be." Her amber eyes went wide. "I do not understand, Master. I've seen things. The way you read Valorian math like it's nothing. The way you move today. The way you stand at the window at night when you think I'm sleeping." He leaned forward. "I'm not going to force you to tell me anything. That's not who I am. But I want you to know something." She waited, barely breathing. "Whatever you're hiding from, whoever you're running from, I've got your back. That's what humans do for the people they care about." For a long moment, Yuki said nothing. Then a single tear rolled down her cheek, cutting a wet line through her silver fur. "You should not say such things," she whispered. "You do not know what caring for me will cost you." Before Marcus could respond, the window exploded. Glass flew everywhere. Marcus threw himself over Yuki, shielding her with his body. A figure crashed through the broken window and landed in the middle of the room. It was a Valorian soldier, tall and covered in dark armor, carrying a plasma rifle. "Death to the peace treaty," the soldier screamed. "Death to all who support it." Marcus moved fast. He grabbed a kitchen knife and threw it at the soldier. The blade bounced off the armor without leaving a scratch. The soldier laughed and aimed his rifle at Marcus's chest. "Foolish human. Did you think you could stop me with that?" Marcus knew he was about to die. He had faced death before, during the war. He was not afraid. But he was angry that he could not protect Yuki. Then the room filled with light. It was not the light of a lamp or a fire. It was the light of stars. It was the light of the universe itself. Yuki rose from the ground, and she was no longer the meek servant. Her 3 tails had become 9, each one burning with silver fire. Her eyes blazed like twin suns. Her robes had transformed into armor made of pure light. The soldier froze. His rifle shook in his hands. "You will not harm what is mine," Yuki said. Her voice was no longer soft. It echoed through the room, through the building, through the very fabric of reality. She raised one hand. A barrier of light appeared in front of her, and when the soldier fired his rifle in panic, the plasma bolt simply vanished when it touched the barrier. The soldier screamed and ran. He jumped back through the window and fled into the night, leaving his rifle behind. The light faded. The 9 tails became 3 again. Yuki's armor melted back into simple robes. She swayed on her feet, and Marcus caught her before she fell. "I am sorry," she said weakly. "I do not remember what happened. Did I faint again?" Marcus looked at her. She was still pretending. Even now, after everything he had seen, she was still trying to hide. But he had seen her true form. He had felt her power. And he knew one thing for certain. Yuki, I was not a servant. She was something far greater. And whatever was coming next, they would face it together. 2 days after the attack, Yuki finally told Marcus the truth. They sat together on the roof of his apartment building, looking up at the stars. The night was cold, but Yuki's tails were warm, and she had wrapped one around Marcus without thinking about it. He did not mind. "My real name is Tsukiyomi no Kaguya," she said softly. "I am the 9th princess of the Kitsuri Celestial Throne." Marcus let the words sink in. A princess. He had been living with a princess. And that's not all. Yuki continued. Among my people, I am known as the Void Fox. I am the most powerful warrior our species has produced in 10,000 years. That's a lot to take in, Marcus admitted. Yuk, I let out a small laugh. It was the first time he had heard her laugh, and he liked the sound. There is more, she said. My people, the Kitsuri, are not what the galaxy thinks we are. We are not servants. We are one of the three elder races who created the Galactic Council long before your species was born. We are older than most of the stars in this galaxy. Marcus stared at her. Then why do you pretend to be servants? Why do you let people treat you like property? Because it is useful, Yuki explained. The Kitsuri who volunteer as companions are not slaves. They are observers and protectors. They go to young species like humanity to watch and learn, and sometimes to guard. It is considered a sacred duty. But you're a princess. Why would you do this? Yuki's expression grew serious. Because I discovered something terrible. There is a conspiracy within the Galactic Council. A group of powerful individuals who want to restart the war between humanity and the Valorians. Marcus felt his blood go cold. Why would anyone want that? Money, power. When two species fight, they become weak. They need weapons, supplies, medicine. They become desperate. And desperate people can be controlled. Yuki's hands curled into fists. These conspirators have been planning this for years. I disguised myself as a simple companion so I could investigate without being noticed. And they sent you to me? Was that random? Yuki shook her head. No, Marcus. You were chosen on purpose. But not by the conspirators. By me. I don't understand. Yuki turned to face him. Her amber eyes glowed softly in the starlight. During the siege of Proxima Station, your orders were to destroy any Valorian ship trying to escape. But there was a civilian transport carrying 3,000 innocent people, women, children, elderly. Your commanders told you to shoot it down anyway. They said it might be carrying enemy soldiers. Marcus remembered. He remembered every moment of that day. The hardest decision he had ever made. I let it go, he said quietly. I disobeyed my orders. You did more than that, Yuki said. Those 3,000 survivors included the daughter of the Valorian Prime Minister. When she returned home safely, she told her father about the human soldier who showed mercy. She convinced him to push for peace. Your single act of kindness ended the war, Marcus. You saved millions of lives, and you never even knew it. Marcus did not know what to say. For 5 years, he had thought he was a failure. He had blamed himself for the deaths of his squad. He had never imagined that his moment of mercy had changed history. That is why I came to you, Yuki continued. I knew you were someone special. Someone who did the right thing even when it was hard. I needed to find you before the conspirators did. But they found us anyway, Marcus said, thinking of the Valorian soldier who had attacked them. Yes, they know who I really am now. And they have made their next move. Yuki reached into her robes and pulled out a small tablet. They have planted false evidence. They are going to accuse you of war crimes. They will say you killed innocent Valorians during the war. They will destroy the peace treaty and start a new war. Marcus looked at the tablet. It showed news reports, documents, fake videos. All of it designed to make him look like a monster. So, what do we do? He asked. Yuk, I blinked at him. You are not afraid? I've been afraid every day since the war ended, Marcus said honestly. I'm tired of being afraid. At least now I have something to fight for. A smile spread across Yuki's face. It was a real smile, not the fake servant smile she had worn before. It was beautiful. You are truly remarkable, she said. My people have watched humanity for centuries. At first, we did not understand you. You are weak compared to other species. You live such short lives. Your technology was primitive. But we noticed something strange. Humans always fight for each other. You die for strangers. You challenge impossible odds to protect the helpless. That quality is what makes you special. That's just what we do, Marcus said. No, Yuki replied. That is what makes you human. And that is why the elder races both fear and admire you. Because you have something we have forgotten. Something precious. She took his hand in hers. Her fur was soft and warm against his skin. We need to expose the conspiracy, she said. We need to show the galaxy the truth. And we need to do it before they destroy everything we both love. Marcus squeezed her hand. For the first time in 5 years, he felt like he had a purpose again. He felt like a soldier again. Then let's do it, he said. Together. Yuki's 9 tails appeared behind her, shimmering with starlight. Her eyes blazed with ancient power. But when she looked at Marcus, there was something soft in them. Something gentle. Together, she agreed. They did not know what was coming. They did not know how hard the fight would be. But they knew one thing. They would face it side by side. They came at dawn. Marcus woke to the sound of ships hovering outside his apartment building. Through the window, he could see dozens of soldiers in the sky, all wearing the silver armor of the Galactic Council Strike Force. At the front of them was a Valorian admiral in a black uniform. His name was Vexer, and according to Yuki, he was the leader of the conspiracy. Marcus Cole. Vexer's voice boomed through speakers. You are under arrest for war crimes against the Valorian people. Surrender now, or we will take you by force. Marcus looked at Yuki. She was already awake, her amber eyes burning with anger. I can destroy them all, she said. Just say the word. No, Marcus replied. Not yet. Let me try something first. He walked to the window and looked down at the street below. What he saw made his heart swell. Hundreds of people had gathered in front of his building. He recognized many of them. There was old Wilson, the veteran who lived down the hall, standing with his walking cane raised like a weapon. There was the Kim family, the immigrants he had helped with paperwork last month. There were the teenagers from a youth center where he volunteered on weekends, and more were coming. Word had spread. Veterans in old uniforms marched down the street. Factory workers put down their tools and joined the crowd. Mothers brought their children. Grandparents brought their grandchildren. They were forming a wall, a human wall, between the soldiers and Marcus's building. What are they doing? Yuki whispered. Being human, Marcus said. Admiral Vexer's voice came again. Clear the streets. This is an official Galactic Council operation. Any interference will be punished. Nobody moved. The humans stood their ground. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. He spent 5 years believing he was worthless. He had spent 5 years hiding from the world. And now, hundreds of strangers were willing to risk their lives for him. I have to go down there, he said. I can't let them get hurt because of me. Marcus, no. Yuki grabbed his arm. If you go out there, he will kill you. Maybe, but I'm not going to hide while innocent people die. He looked at her and smiled. That's not what humans do. Before she could stop him, he ran out the door. Marcus pushed through the crowd until he stood at the front, facing the army alone. Admiral Vexer descended from his ship and landed on the street. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and cold, empty eyes. So you are the human who thinks he can stop me, Vexer said. How pathetic. I'm not trying to stop you, Marcus said. I'm trying to give you a chance to do the right thing. I know about the conspiracy. I know you want to restart the war. It doesn't have to be this way. Vexer laughed. The war will happen whether you live or die human. Your species is too weak to matter. You are insects to us. Maybe, Marcus agreed. But even insects can sting. He raised his fists. He knew he could not win. Vexor was stronger, faster, and had weapons that could destroy a building. But Marcus had made a decision long ago, back on Proxima Station, that he would never stop fighting for what was right. Vexor moved like lightning. His fist slammed into Marcus's chest and sent him flying across the street. Marcus crashed into a wall and felt his ribs crack. The crowd screamed. They tried to rush forward, but the soldiers held them back. Marcus got up. Vexor's eyes widened slightly. "Stay down, human." "No." Marcus ran at him again. This time, Vexor kicked him in the stomach. Marcus fell to his knees, coughing blood. He got up again. Vexor hit him with a blast of energy that burned his skin and knocked him off his feet. He got up again. "Why won't you stay down?" Vexor demanded. There was something in his voice now. Something that sounded almost like fear. Marcus wiped the blood from his mouth and smiled. Because that's not what humans do. He charged one more time. Vexor raised his hand to deliver a killing blow, and then the sky tore open. Light poured down like a waterfall of stars. The ground shook. The soldiers dropped their weapons and fell to their knees. Even Vexor stumbled backward, his eyes wide with terror. I descended from the sky like an angel of war. Her 9 tails spread behind her, each one burning with the light of a sun. Her aura was made of pure starlight. Her voice echoed across the city, across the world, across the universe itself. "I am Tsukiyomi no Kaguya, Princess of the Celestial Throne. The void fox who walked between stars before your species learned to make fire. And this human, this beautiful, stubborn, impossible human, is under my protection." Vexor screamed and fired every weapon he had. Beams of energy, missiles, plasma bolts. All of it rushed toward YUKI. She waved her hand. The attacks vanished. Simply ceased to exist. "You think you can hurt me?" Yuki asked. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. "I have lived for millennia. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have fought gods and monsters. And you, little admiral, are nothing." She did not kill him. She did not need to. With a single thought, she destroyed the conspiracy's resources across the galaxy. Ships exploded. Hidden bases collapsed. Secret bank accounts emptied. Years of planning gone in an instant. Vexor fell to his knees, defeated. The soldiers surrendered. The crowd cheered. And Marcus Cole, battered and broken and bleeding, looked up at the 9-tailed goddess floating above him. "Hey," he said weakly. "Nice entrance." Yuki smiled, and for a moment, she was just Yuki again. Just a fox girl who did not know how to accept kindness. She floated down and caught him before he fell. "You stupid, brave, wonderful human," she whispered. "Never do that again." "No promises," he replied. And despite everything, despite the pain and the fear and the battle they had just won, they both laughed. The Celestial Throne was the most beautiful place Marcus had ever seen. It existed in a dimension beyond normal space, where the rules of physics were more like suggestions. Mountains floated in the sky. Rivers flowed upward into clouds of pure light. Trees grew with leaves made of crystal, and flowers bloomed in colors that had no name. And everywhere Marcus looked, there were Kitsuri, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, all watching him with curious eyes. Most had 5 or 7 tails. A few had 9, like Yuki. They moved with grace and power, and Marcus felt very small and very human among them. "Are you afraid?" Yuki asked. She walked beside him, holding his hand. "A little," he admitted. "But I'm not leaving you." She squeezed his hand and said nothing, but he could see the gratitude in her eyes. The High Council met in a great hall built from frozen starlight. 13 ancient Kitsuri sat in a circle, each one radiating power that made Marcus's skin tingle. At the center of the circle stood Yuki, her head held high despite the judgment she faced. Tsukiyomi no Kaguya, the first elder, spoke. You stand accused of breaking our most sacred law. You revealed your true nature to a lesser species. You showed your power to the galaxy. What do you have to say? I did what was necessary, Yuki replied. The conspiracy threatened the peace. If I had not acted, millions would have died. That is not your decision to make, another elder said. The laws exist for a reason. If we show our true power, we disrupt the natural growth of younger species. They become dependent on us. They never learn to stand on their own. The human should leave, a third elder declared. This is not his place. He has no right to witness our sacred proceedings. Marcus had been quiet until now. He had promised Yuki he would let her handle things. But he could not stay silent anymore. Excuse me, he said. Every eye in the room turned to him. The weight of their ancient stares was almost crushing. But Marcus had faced death before. He had stared down an army just days ago. He was not going to be intimidated now. You call yourselves the elder races, he said. His voice was calm and steady. You've watched the universe for eons. You've seen species rise and fall. You think you understand everything. Human, you do not have permission to speak, an elder warned. I'm speaking anyway, Marcus replied. You want to punish Yuki for showing her power? For saving lives? For doing the right thing? What kind of wisdom is that? The elders murmured among themselves. Nobody had spoken to them like this in a very long time. I watched humanity during the war, Marcus continued. I saw terrible things. I saw cruelty and fear and hatred. But I also saw ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I saw soldiers giving their food to refugees. I saw doctors working until they collapsed. I saw strangers dying to protect strangers. He stepped forward, closer to the council. Guards moved toward him, but he did not stop. You say you've been watching humanity for centuries, but I don't think you really understand us. We're weak. We're fragile. We live such short lives, but we never stop trying. We never stop reaching for things we can't have. And we never, ever abandon our own. His eyes found Yuki's. She was looking at him with tears streaming down her face. Yuki came to Earth to investigate a conspiracy. But somewhere along the way, she found something else. She found people who treated her with kindness when they didn't have to. She found a world where strength isn't measured by power, but by compassion. And she grew. She changed. She became better. He turned back to the council. You want to punish her for that? You want to exile her for becoming more than she was? Then maybe the elder races aren't as wise as they think. Maybe you've been alive so long that you've forgotten what it means to be alive. Silence filled the hall. The elders stared at Marcus like he was an alien creature they had never seen before. Finally, the oldest elder moved. She was small and frail, with white fur and 9 tails that seemed made of pure moonlight. When she stood, the other elders bowed their heads in respect. In all my years, she said slowly, I have never seen a mortal speak to us so. Not with defiance. Not with anger. With truth. She walked toward Marcus. Each step she took echoed through the hall like a thunderclap. When she reached him, she did something that made every Kitsuri in the room gasp, thought she bowed. Perhaps it is time we remembered that wisdom is not the same as age, she said. And strength is not the same as power. She turned to the council. The charges against Tsukiyomi no Kaguya are dismissed. The hall erupted in whispers. Yuki ran to Marcus and threw her arms around him. He held her tight, not caring that everyone was watching. You impossible human, she sobbed into his chest. Do you have any idea what you just did? I told them the truth, he said simply. That's all. 1 year later, Earth had changed. The exposure of the conspiracy had shaken the galaxy. The Galactic Council had apologized to humanity. The peace treaty with the Valorians had been strengthened, and humans were no longer seen as a minor species. They were seen as something rare and precious. Marcus and Yuki lived in a small house outside the city. She had chosen to stay with him instead of returning to the celestial throne. He had been appointed as an ambassador between species, teaching others the lessons he had taught the Kitsuri. On warm evenings, they would sit on their porch and watch the sunset together. Yuki's tails would curl around them both like a silver blanket, and they would talk about everything and nothing, the way lovers do. "Do you ever regret it?" Marcus asked one evening. "Giving up being a princess for this?" Yuki leaned against him. Her amber eyes, once ancient and weary, now sparkled with happiness. "I was born into power," she said. "But you taught me something better." "What's that?" She smiled. It was the same smile that had cracked her mask so long ago, the first real smile he had ever seen from her. How to be human. Marcus laughed and pulled her closer. Above them, the stars came out one by one, watching over the soldier and the princess who had found each other against all odds. And somewhere in the universe, the elder races looked at humanity with new eyes. They were weak. They were fragile. They lived such short lives, but they had something precious, something worth protecting, something worth learning. They had hope, and that was enough.